Authority to order, please. Roll call.
Bowie.
Here.
Coleman.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Jost.
Here.
Commissioner Kim is excused. Commissioner Naker is absent. Yang.
Here.
Four present, excuse me, five present, one is absent. That is Commissioner Naker, and Commissioner Kim is excused. Item number 1, Resolution 25-1530, Reservation of the Year 2026 Low-Income Housing Tax Credits for the Aragon Development located at 470 White Bear Avenue, District 1, Ward 7.
Great. And welcome. I'm the Vice Chair of the HRA, Sarah Jost. I'll be chairing today. And this item, we've received a staff report and presentation on this last week. So I will take a motion from Chair Johnson to approve this item. Is there any discussion or any further questions?
I did just have one
discussion
item. I definitely want to say also to I was going to say Chair Drew's Director just particularly around just like walking us through the tax credits. One of the observations I made that I did not get a chance to talk about, particularly around this process, is the one of the factors particularly around is the project funding actually complete. I think one of the items he had mentioned is that this project will be coming back around next year. And this will be a 3-year request for these tax credits. And I just wanted to share with my colleagues as we're looking at where these tax dollars should go towards. It's really important that we prioritize properties that are to its completion and ready to go, just so we can prioritize who's actually ready to sustain and build housing in this situation. This is a phenomenal development, and I'm really happy to see that there's 100% affordable housing, but we won't actually see that until years to come. So as we're looking at how we can most utilize and maximize our tax credits, I think that's something that will be worth exploring around our factors of how we are scoring for projects. So I just wanted to share that with my colleagues because I didn't get a chance to mention that last time.
Okay.
But I will be in support of this item.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councilmember Bowie. Any other questions or comments? Chair Johnson.
Yeah, I appreciate that nod, Councilmember Bowie. I think in this instance, when we had 3 applications, it seemed like the only existing property was the Ramsey Hill application, but separately, they were also the lowest scoring when it came to just the criteria and the review. And I think that some of the other factors that weighed into both of the other 2 that scored significantly higher than that particular project, to me, that just was a piece that I wanted to highlight was the affordability pieces, was the attention to some of the equity measures too that are important to me. I know I'm just really excited to see that one, I think the Aragon development needs to actually continue to have that investment in order to be successful in a space that has not been utilized at this time for several years now. And I know that when we've gone through the discussions with community members, having different events in my ward to discuss the Aragon project, one of the things that I think is really important is the continued partnership that it requires with the city. And so I'm looking forward to that as we go into the next couple of years. And I think that all of the proposed projects also had a line item of what they expected to come back to the city for additional funding on in this case. And so none of them were going to just be a one-time piece. But I think being able to have folks that are going to utilize this funds, the one nod that I will put in, I think that these funding sources should continue to remain in investing in affordable housing. And as we continue to talk about LIHTC and our low-income housing tax credits, one piece that I would share is that we have affordability, 30-year affordability currently in projects like this that would require them to maintain their affordability for a 30-year period of time. I know in upcoming weeks we'll be discussing whether or not to change some of our projects to a 15-year requirement. And part of my opposition to that is because I want to continue to see investments in projects this way. And so, one of the things that I will just share with you is that this is currently a vacant lot that sits in my ward that has warranted a lot of conversations locally. We have had several office hours about it, community event spaces, and Beacon Interfaith in particular has done meetings with community members to talk about this project, why it's important, what their commitment is to our ward, and I think that's part of the reason why it got pushed over the edge with the scoring modules. And so I'm just really excited to continue that partnership over the next couple of years. It's something that I'm supportive of the project itself, and overall just really supportive of our low-income housing tax credits continuing to go towards long-term affordability in communities that want it. And so just genuinely overall supportive, and with that, I'd move a motion.
Oh, great. Yes. Thank you, Chair Johnson. So we have our motion on the table for approval of this item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
5 in favor, none opposed. The resolution is adopted. Item number 2, Resolution Public Hearing 25-237. Resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of conduit charter school lease revenue refunding bonds under Minnesota statutes, sections 469.152 through 469.1655 for the Twin Cities German Immersion School Project.
Thank you. So this item was also presented to us last week, so the next step here is a public hearing. And so for folks that are here to speak to this item, you will have 2 minutes to speak, and there will be a timer in front of you, and I will have to stop you if you get to 2 minutes. So with that being said, this is a public hearing on this item. If there's anyone here to speak to this item, please come forward. Okay, going once, going twice. All right, so with that, I'll take a motion from Councilmember Coleman to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The public hearing is 5 in favor, none opposed. The public hearing is closed and the resolution is adopted. Item number 3.
Wait, sorry. We're just closing the public hearing. So I'd want to move to discussion on this item. So does anyone have any comments on this item before we take a vote? Yes, Councilmember Yang.
Thanks, Vice Chair Jost. Well, I want to say thank you to the guests from Twin Cities German Immersion School for coming here and speaking last week. I also just want to say broadly that I think it's really great for us to always have guest speakers for these sort of items. That way we get a face to the name and get to meet the representatives too. So if that's something that Vice Chair Jost, you and Chair Johnson have been requesting, I want to say thank you and encourage us to continue making those requests. I just want to say overall that during my time on the council, I haven't been voting in favor of the conduit revenue bonds for charter schools and private schools, really because big picture wise, there is a negative fiscal impact to our public school systems, and St. Paul Public Schools to be specific, and I have had many conversations with them about this already, so to be consistent, I will not be voting in support of this item here.
Thank you, Councilmember Yang. Is there any other discussion? All right, I'll take a motion from Councilmember Bowie to approve this item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
4 in favor, 1 opposed, that being Commissioner Yang. The resolution is adopted. Staff report, item number 3, staff report 25-217, Highland Bridge update from Ryan Companies and Widener Apartment Homes.
So we have, so just a little background, this is a presentation at the HRA for the Highland Bridge development, and we have the master developer Ryan as well as representatives from Widener Apartment Homes here today. This presentation was requested earlier this year, I believe in May, around the time that the HRA made several decisions around the Highland Bridge development. So that is what this presentation is for today. And so we have Sean Ryan and Nick Nowatarski here to present to us on a progress update on our development. They have a lot of really exciting things to share. So I will turn it over to them.
Okay, thank you very much. Should I just click through? Okay. Chair, Commissioners, thank you very much. My name is Sean Ryan. I'm a developer with Ryan Companies overseeing the Highland Bridge project. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Gateway project, formerly known Block 2B, 2C, as well as Outlot B and Blocks 11 and 16. Since May, Highland Bridge has seen a flurry of activity, and that activity can be attributed to the action that this group took in May, so we thank you for that. With that action, we've ensured that hundreds of new housing units will be built in the next 3 to 4 years, which is just great activity for the site and for the city. The Gateway project is well underway. Construction began in June, and we remain on track for the forecasted turnover date of October 26. Just to reorient everybody to the area, so we are along the corner of Ford Parkway and Cretin. And this is a 97-unit multifamily market rate residential building with about 23,000 square foot in retail. So here's a progress shot of where we sat. This is a couple weeks ago, so you'll see in the next couple photos how much further we've also become. So the footings and foundations are complete. The structured parking, the precast structured parking and the parking slab on grade is also complete. First floor exterior wall framing is ongoing. For the fourth floor wood framing, so the apartment units begins on 10/15, so today. And then the in-unit MEP rough-in will begin later this month. Roof installation is shooting for 11/5, and really, the push is to get watertight before we see the cold weather. So, as you can see here, this is focusing on the 4-story multi-family building, the anchor building of the site, and this is the wood framing going up on second and third floor right now. This is a shot of the underground parking ramp. So this will be the residential parking. And then on the right here, we have a shot looking into the retail that will be off Ford Parkway. That's part of the mixed-use building. A couple interior shots of the future apartment building. So the hallway on second floor, as well as a look into one of the early framing pictures for one of our units. And then here I'd like to just share, this was a rendering that we shared a number of times leading up to construction, and kind of a like shot of looking down the pedestrian corridor that will separate the multifamily on the right with Block 2C, which is the Tierra and Cantata daycare that will be starting next summer. A quick update just on the retail components. So we have 3 standalone retail buildings along Ford Parkway. The footing and foundations of those are also complete with the shell underground plumbing and utility installation ongoing. Structural steel erection will begin at the end of this month, and roof decking will shortly follow that. The exterior wall framing will begin 11/3 with exterior brick installation happening shortly after. So same idea there, is to get watertight so we can continue building those out during the winter. So a few photos looking down at our retail. One thing I would like to point out, and it was a point of discussion during our entitlements late last year, but one of the main characteristics of the retail that we discussed in great lengths was connecting it with Ford Parkway. And as you can see, each building subsequently steps down to maintain that 16-foot grade change from Ford Parkway kind of looking west. So we feel we're keeping that connectivity with the pedestrian sidewalk along Ford Parkway. And then specific to 2C, so this is Tierra and Cantata's space along Cretin. Again, footing and foundations are complete. Utilities ongoing, nearing complete probably this week. Structural steel erection is ongoing. Exterior wall framing will start next week with roof installation at the same time. The scheduled turnover right now to Tierra is June of 26, and we anticipate that they will start almost immediately building out their TI build out with a hopeful opening of next fall.
Sean, could you explain what TI means?
Yeah, tenant improvements, sorry. So we are building the shell, so 4 walls and the roof and kind of getting it watertight, and they will come in and build the actual classrooms, do the interior, fit out for the space.
Thank you.
Thank you. A couple shots of the structural steel being erected there. And then one update that we're really excited to kind of unveil today is, we're excited that we're able to deliver upon our goal of incorporating elements of the historic Ford plant into the anchor building, the multifamily mixed-use building, and 2B, 2C, or the gateway. The distinguished architect Albert Kahn designed the original Ford plant using his patented Kahn facade, and when the plant was ultimately demolished, portions of it were carefully taken down and stored for the last few years with the intent of being able to reuse some of those elements on site. And we're happy to announce that we are going to be using that along the east facade of the multifamily building that faces Civic Square, the future Civic Square. So I think that's, we've heard over the years just the importance of the history with that Ford plant, and being able to utilize it is something that we're very proud that we're able to accomplish. So here are a couple photos of us removing the Kahn facade pieces from where they've been stored on site and starting to lay them out and kind of putting the pieces together. As you can imagine, it's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle, but it's a fun one. And then also, I'd like to share a few new updates on the Civic Square Outlot B. This is directly on the corner of Ford Parkway and Cretin Avenue. This is a civic space similar to the Civic Plaza, closer to, that's down by the Central Water Feature. This will be owned by the Master Association, similar to the Central Water Feature, and privately operated with public access and public easements. And so this, just to kind of orient everybody on where we're looking, obviously we're looking at a site plan. So the top right corner of this would be the intersection of Ford Parkway and Cretin. So a few of the highlights of this, we're creating a kind of a public space for people to meet. We really view this as like the gateway into Highland Bridge, and a way for people to kind of meet here and then take their, kind of walk through the pedestrian walkway through 2B and 2C, and then into the Civic Plaza and kind of further into Highland Bridge itself. So we're gonna have a central element, sculpture element. Right now we're looking at using a couple of the larger friezes that were also part of the Ford building, but it will, will include, bench seating, sidewalks, landscaping, and really just creating a really welcoming place that will serve really as the entrance, but also, a meeting spot for people. We have you can kind of see the seating that we have along the left side of the multifamily building. The intent there is to have a restaurant tenant take that space and really activate, the sidewalks even between the few spaces. The design is really incorporated around being able to maintain kind of that viewpoint through that pedestrian walkway, which is why, from Ford Parkway, you'd be able to kind of see directly through to the Civic Plaza and the pergola that's on Marbella, Phase 1. And just a quick update on the timing there. So by the end of the month, we'll look to submit our 60% design. And then, through March 2026, we'll be complete with design, ready for permitting, with an anticipated start of, late spring, early summer of 2026, and with the intent to be completed and opened when the not only the residential but Tierra and Cantata opens up in the fall. Just a couple more shots of that Civic Square. Perfect. Then I'll hand it over to Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Nowatarski. I'm the development director with Widener Apartment Homes. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present and give you an update today. So really what we want to focus on today is just a quick update on blocks 11 and 16. Big picture, we are on schedule and progressing well in terms of design and permitting on these projects. As a reminder, block 11, as you can see on the screen, is the northernmost of the two blocks that are squared off here. That's the one that's slated to start construction this spring, summer of 2026. And that has, the actual count is dancing around 175 units, so a little bit north of what we originally specified, with about 2,000 square feet of retail. And then block 16 would be our next block, just south of block 11. And that's going to be about 180 units, plus or minus, and another plus or minus 2,000 square feet of retail. So like I said, schedule is progressing well. When you think about designing a building, there's kind of three main stages that we kind of control on our side of the aisle. It's schematic design, development design, and then construction documentation. We've finished those first two segments of design, and we're about halfway through construction documentation. So almost completed on our side. We are close to submitting for entitlements. We'll submit those in November. We've already had 2 pre-app meetings with the city to help make sure that our submission is exactly what the city's looking for. City staff has been super helpful in helping kind of flush out a few of those early items that we wanted to talk about. Have a couple neighborhood meetings in the next, we have one next week with the district council, and then we have another one slated for November. And then big picture, we will be submitting our building permit in January, which gives us plenty of time working with city staff and talking through the timelines to put us in a position to start construction, late spring, early summer of next year. Wanted to share some renderings on the project. We don't usually kind of necessarily go into that, but I think it's helpful to kind of show, how proud we are of this building and how much it means to us to be part of the city and to really try to do something special. So big picture, we've designed this building to be the Californian. To ownership, to Mr. Widener, it was paramount for him to not have 10 blocks of the same thing that are all just, hardy boxes that are just squares and read as like monolithic structures. He wants each building to have a little bit of a unique identity, but not to be so much of an outlier that it doesn't look as one cohesive project. So for this building, we targeted it as the Californian, and that's something we've talked about for a couple of years with city staff as well. But what you'll notice is a lot of a lighter color scheme, really kind of pulling from like a Southern California architecture. We have very high quality, the wood look siding you see right there kind of in the middle of the screen is actually a metal panel. Very, very high-end siding. We have a lot of masonry right at the pedestrian level. We're using a very high-end kind of stone material, specified as Airstone right now. But, really kind of the elevations and the renderings and kind of getting the right aesthetic design is super important for us. So we really want to deliver something that we're proud of, and we hope the city is equally proud of. All of these design renderings are a little bit point in time, so these are about 99% of the way there, just so everybody knows. This will continue advancing as we get through permitting. This is showing you the opposite corner of what you just saw. So this is the northwestern corner with kind of the central water feature over to the right. But again, kind of really pulling in that warm wood look. We have this great kind of stretched parapet wall over the top of the building to add some curves. The nature of the site really wants it to be rectilinear, so we wanted to find some ways to introduce some softness into that. This is the northeastern corner, so kind of as you come down Creedon, this is going to be your first impression of the building. This elevation, particularly lower level, we're still working through a couple nuances there, so that's going to change a bit. But as you can see, again, the goal is to look at the building and not have it read as one large mass. It's to break it down, to get it into that human scale. This is the western view of the building from the water feature. So opening up, it's a U-shaped building, opens up to the west, lets in a lot of natural light. True to California, we actually have some faux palm trees around the pool and a little bit kind of kind of sprinkled out throughout the site plan. Front entryway. So this is the southeastern corner of our site. We'll have our residential lobby, and we've actually moved the retail to be on this corner as well. And when we think about that, it's really kind of like this big picture perspective of, between block 11, block 16, 12, and 17, we want to kind of, the plan is to pull back the corners of those buildings to open it up for this nice kind of pedestrian square, to really kind of activate it, have people be able to walk through there, to have our retail kind of focused into the zone. And that's what you're seeing is kind of, this is the first iteration of this on this building. Opposite side, this is, again, kind of on that central water feature, and then over on the right hand of the screen is actually between block 11 and 16, which is a pedestrian pathway that we're working with city staff on. So that's really the renderings for block 11. Like I said, we are moving along on schedule as we anticipated. Don't see any issues there. Block 16 is basically, everything from block 11, but about a year later. So we are working through the site and concept design right now with the Ryan design team. That section of the design, everything builds upon it. So kind of getting that right from the get-go is fundamental for project success. So actively working through that. We don't necessarily have anything to share on that design quite yet. But the plan is to kind of same thing, fall of next year, submit entitlements, winter of next year, like in a year from now, submit for building permit, and that puts us on the pathway to starting construction spring, summer of 27. With that, that's all we have as far as prepared remarks. If there's any questions, we're happy to help tackle those.
Thank you so much, Nick and Sean. Does anyone have any questions? Councilman Riang.
Thanks, Vice Chair Jules. Well, at first I want to say thank you all so much for coming and giving the council an update. I am really pleased to hear that your construction is going according to plan, that you're on track with your timeline as well. I'm just looking at the different block schedules here, like for when construction is you want it to start and finish. Do you have any thoughts on when the buildings will be move-in ready? It looks like block 11 here will be more move-in ready, more than, let's see here, it's like a year ahead, right, on the timeline compared to block 16.
So block 11, the construction timeline's 18, 19, 20 months, somewhere right in that time period. So, call it a year and a half after when we start. So, like I said, starts planned for late spring or summer of next year. So it's kind of the, winter of 2027 into 2028.
Great.
For 11 and 16 would be about a year after that.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Johnson.
And just to refresh my mind, can you tell me again the breakdown for the units for block 11 and 16?
Sure, sorry. Block 11, the actual number is 175 right now. That might move around a unit or two as we wrap up design. And then for block 16, we're still massing it, but it's right at 180.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Sean and Nick, for being here. I really have a few comments. I mean, the top thing that I heard is that we are on schedule and on track, which I'm very happy to hear. I know as a community in Ward 3 that we really appreciate seeing these buildings go up, and especially at the Gateway. They've been going up very quickly. I was really happy to be there for the groundbreaking, which was in June, and here we are at October. And so to see the progress that has been made so quickly, honestly, like as someone who works in this industry and designs and watches buildings go up, I don't know if I've seen buildings go up quite that quickly. Maybe I'm trying to think of a few times, but that is such a testament to your team, and also to all of the folks that are working on the site, the superintendent, the subcontractors, everyone. It takes a lot to keep a project on track and on time. There's so many things that can just knock you off your schedule slightly, and so hopefully I haven't jinxed us here, but I'm really, really happy to see that. And I am really proud of the partnership that we have together, and the earlier in May the HRA approved a series of agreements, and in those agreements, if folks that are watching don't remember, were that Block 11 will be starting design and then being constructed next year, with the Block 16 to follow. And so I'm really happy to see that those projects are on track. And I think that I also really enjoy the renderings that you shared. As someone also that's worked in this industry, when you see the renderings and then to look at the construction side by side with the renderings to see what they look like, I really appreciate. And also to see just the actual structure of the buildings. It's not often that when you look at a building, you don't get to see that unless you see the building being constructed, because everything gets covered up. And so I really enjoyed seeing the structural steel and the precast and the wood and all of those different components. And I would really encourage my colleagues to come by Highland Bridge. It's moving very quickly. So and you can see it's going to continue to move quickly. They're going to start constructing some of the wood. They're going to be moving through that very quickly and topping a lot of those things off. So come by and check it out when you're in Ward 3, as these projects continue to move along over the next few years here. Any other questions or comments? Councilmember or Chair Johnson.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo thanks to both of you for coming out in person to give the update. I know that was some of the HRA discussions around just annual updates this way, and so I appreciated we did appreciate the email and received the email. I know the council president and council vice president weren't able to be here today, but I know the council president may or may not have any follow-up, so I'll just preface that just because she's not here, and I know that she had asked for the presentation originally too, and so I just wanted to share it's appreciative to have you both here. Nick, it's great to see you again as well, and to see the progress that is being made on the site. In part because we as a council body did make several changes this year that I feel like have been in the spirit of trying to move along this site and wanting to see development continue to happen in our city. And so it's great to see that while I didn't vote for the exemption, it's great to see that folks that are making good on the reason as to why it was brought up in the first place. And so I just want to say that is appreciated, and it's great to see the progress here. I know our winter season is among us, but I hope it holds off long enough for you to finish through this. I genuinely am just like, I hope you can get there. I felt a little cold today when I walked outside. I was like, here we go. But I hope that you're able to get your roof insulation and stuff together with no problems. Minnesota is unpredictable in that way, but usually predictable in the sense that we know it's coming, we just don't know when. But just want to say thank you for taking the time to come out and give it in person. It's just so many things that you can add pictures and life to that email just can't do. So,
Totally understand, and thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Johnson. Yes, I echo that. I really appreciate both of you coming out, and I do think when you do get the presentation in person, it does bring so much more to it than reading it. And I'm so excited to see development moving along at Highland Bridge, and I also look forward to all the other projects we have across the city and watching those go up here in the coming years. So thank you so much to you both. And with nothing else to come before us, we are adjourned.